When the ring roam Grim Grinning Ghosts come out to Santiba. Hey yo, we back. It's October 2nd, baby. Which means we're continuing our series on deep dives into just freaking Halloween movies, because I don't know very many Halloween movies. Every single day in the month of October, I will be reviewing another Halloween movie. You know, giving my thoughts, my first impressions, all that type of stuff. I will watch a movie and then right after record my reaction to it, which is what I'm doing right now. Now, today's movie, I honestly didn't really know what to expect from walking in, because I've only seen stuff about it through memes and the internet. So I was like, uh-oh, is this going to be like freaking one of those like cringe movies, you know? But I actually had a lot more fun than I thought I would. And that's Monster House, baby. I'm just going to go over a couple of points. Again, I just watched this movie, so this is my first impressions review, basically. I haven't really given a whole lot of thought about like the deep, dark, twisted fantasy about all that type of stuff. I don't know why I just referenced the Kanye album. That's not why I do things. But I just wanted to give my impressions of the movie, how I thought about it, and if you should watch it. Now again, I will be doing this for a different movie every single day of October, so if you want to join me on this series, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I'm trying to hit 500 subs by the end of the year, so you doing that would just mean the absolute world to me. So thanks again for subscribing if you have, and if not, be sure to hit that. Really would appreciate it. So again, I walked into Monster House not really knowing how I should feel about it. Like, I was expecting like one of those YouTube review type things where it's like, this is a ridiculous movie with a ridiculous premise and all of that type of stuff. And honestly, looking into it at face value, you would probably feel the exact same way. This is a really ridiculous, stupid concept with a really, really dated animation. And I absolutely freaking loved it. Okay, I want to get the bad stuff out of the way. Yes, the animation is freaking dated beyond measure. Like it looks absolutely freaking ridiculous how poor the animation quality is, especially compared to stuff here and now. How things are structured and how like freaking every little tiny hair on Elsa's head in Frozen is perfectly animated compared to now. Freaking, of course, this movie from 2006 is gonna look freaking ridiculous, right? And considering it was made by an animation studio that wasn't Disney or Pixar, who at the time pretty much had a monopoly in the early 2000s about pretty much anything that had to do with 3D animation, that's to be expected. Like, I'm not expecting something that's freaking revolutionary with the animation industry, especially 3D, which was, again, so very new at the time. But in a way, the weird, creepy animation almost lends itself to how this movie works. And the way that this movie works, I think, is just how enjoyable and how much it taps into the childhood wonder and imagination of everything. We all had that one neighbor that was absolutely freaking weird, and you just would not want to go anywhere near their house because you did not want to either be chased off or be let in or anything of the matter. I'll tell you this, when I was in 3rd grade, I had this neighbor. We lived on like a college campus type thing, like family housing at the time. We had this neighbor who I had my friend who was 2 houses down, and in between us, me and my friend, there was this one house who, if you even like attempted to like do anything, like it resulted in freaking fear. Like it was like this crotchety old guy that would just like come out and just very clearly did not want to be there, did not want to be talking with children at all, and yet he had to because he lived on a family housing college campus. And we all have that guy. We all have that house. We all have that one weird urban legend about a member of our community or a person in our community that we just heard when we were children, we just had to live with, and we just kind of grew up with. Tell me your stories in the comments below. That would be freaking fantastic. Monster House works so well because it takes that and puts it to its logical extreme. You know, the house is literally, it's not just haunted, it is the haunt. It's not just, oh, you have some ghosts in a house. The ghost is the house, which I'm honestly surprised nobody's ever thought of before. This is actually a really fun concept, and you get to see a lot of really wacky, cool things done with it. There's this really interesting, funny thing about anatomy with the house, where you have a chandelier, and that's the uvula. So if you shoot at it, it causes a gag reflex, and that was really funny to me. There was a whole thing over and over again where the carpet that was going up the stairs, that's actually the tongue, and then there's the throat, and so it's like a living being, but it's also a house. It was so freaking mind-blowing and freaking creative. It was honestly ahead of its time, is what I can say. I feel like if you give this script, these voice actors, these performances, and you put it in like now with all this freaking high-end animation, people would be celebrating this as a freaking masterpiece. But because it seems so crude, especially visually, people don't see it that way. They see it as off-putting, they see it as weird. And yet we don't feel that way about Toy Story, which is funny to me, because Toy Story freaking came out in the 90s, looks way worse than this movie, and yet we still freaking love that movie. We freaking adore it and celebrate it as a masterpiece. And I'm not saying that Monster House is a masterpiece. Okay, I am saying that, but it's fun. It's such a fun movie. I had so much fun watching this movie. I had so much fun with the dialogue. I had so much fun with the way that the house was structured. It got heartfelt at a lot of points, talking about why the house is haunted and why there's a ghost in the house. It really puts that idea of like the creepy neighbor to like, again, its most logical extreme, but then makes you feel bad for the guy. Like, there's so many things about this movie that were just so fun. I just had fun with it. It's not very often that I'll sit and watch a movie by myself and audibly laugh. I audibly laughed a lot during this movie, and I was freaking sitting on my bed watching it by myself.
I'll show you. But if things get out of hand,
we'll aim for Bigfoot. That's loaded.
Now, is it like objectively as good as like Psycho? Like from a narrative and from a visual standpoint, does it have the same historical impact as some other classic Halloween movies? No. But I almost think that lends itself to creating an experience that is actually more enjoyable. When I watched Psycho yesterday, you can check that video before, I talked about how the thing that broke this whole fear factor and this whole like experience down for me is knowing what to expect. And I think going into this movie, having no preconceived notions about how it was going to turn out, actually lended itself to being a really fun, really enjoyable time. And I definitely would recommend that you watch this movie. I'm not going to say that it's a technical wonder or freaking groundbreaking, especially for its time, but it's fun. And I just really enjoyed it. It's really creative. Yeah, I don't really have a whole lot else to say other than freaking watch this movie. You're going to have a great time. And I had a great time while watching it. 7 out of 10. That's what I'll say. But until next time, I'm Connor. I love stories, and I will see you around.